YouTube family, welcome back to Noni's weight loss journey. As you read the title, I will be giving you an update of a review of the Kmart air fryer. I've been using it for more than 6 months now. Now again, if you are new to this channel, on this channel, I'm gonna take you through my weight loss journey. I'm looking at losing 30 kilos. I'll be trying out all different things related to weight loss to see which one really works. So please consider subscribing. It might not be a big deal for you, just a button, but it means the world to me. So please do consider subscribing. Now let's get on with it. The Kmart air fryer. Now I've had this air fryer for more than 6 months now, and there's a few things that I've noticed, so please stick around to actually watch the video throughout. There's a lot of things that we're going to be covering today.
Let's get on with it.
I did do a video of unboxing this particular air fryer as well, and I had a lot of you commenting about it, asking me how it was, so I thought I'll just make a video out of it so you guys know as well how good it is. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link up here for that as well. All the topics will be time-stamped, so if you did want to just jump to something, go ahead. Now a quick warning before we start that this is just my experience, not saying that this will happen to you as well.
It would never happen to you.
Okay, thanks. So first thing, we're gonna start with some positives. Now, it was amazing to have. It is amazing to have. It's very convenient. I've had so many days where, you know, I didn't feel like cooking anything and my son comes up to me and says, "Mom, I'm hungry." All I would do is just literally open up the freezer, get some frozen nuggets out, chuck it in for about 10 to 15 minutes, and that's it. Literally. Food's done, you know, sorted. And whether you believe it or not, you can actually cook a whole chicken in it. I've cooked tandoori chicken in it so many times. Now, I haven't cooked a full roast in it yet because we just usually buy the roast. If you did want a recipe about how to cook it, I'll put a link up here for you. Would you like to say something about the air fryer? What would you like to say?
So the air fryer is cool, and Mommy cooked some nuggets, and it has 2 mini things.
Things cook so much faster in the air fryer than compared to the oven. Of course, that depends on the quantity that you're cooking, but if you're not cooking a lot, then air fryer is amazing. It heats up super quickly. And one of the best things about this was that, say if you turn this on, right? And this is getting warm now. And you open the basket, the air fryer actually stops. Even though the timer doesn't stop, the air fryer actually stops. Now let's get on with the negatives here. There is a list. I've come prepared, so there's a few things to go through. I've used this a lot of times and sometimes on a daily basis. I've even done meal preps in this. So I've cooked multiple dishes on the same day, on the same time span as well. So I've basically like cooked one, washed it, cooked another, washed it, cooked another. So I've used it a fair bit. What I've noticed is when I use it for a longer period of time, the plastic around it kind of, I don't know what happens to it with the heat, but it does get harder to push back in. It comes off easily, but putting the basket back in does become a bit of a struggle. Another negative that I found about this was the actual coating, the non-stick coating in the basket is not that great. The other day I was cooking chicken tikka and I made a video out of it. It turned out so great. Again, I'll put a link up here. But I cooked it in the air fryer and I cooked it in the oven. When cooking in the air fryer, it did get stuck to the bottom. Stick at the bottom. I even have a little ring of oil around the edges. I will show you. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but all along the edges over here, it's all very rough, very oily. It just doesn't come off. Now, the instructions do say that you can put the basket in the dishwasher, and I've washed it twice in the dishwasher and it turns out all right, but the stickiness still doesn't come off. That could be just me not cleaning it well, but really that was just my experience. The next one, be a bit careful about this. This is kind of important. If you're cooking something that is quite light in there, for example, the other day all I did was just put a slice of bread at the bottom, and then I put a slice of cheese on top of the bread, and it doesn't stay in the same place. It just flies around in there. So if you just leave it in there, if you think that when you open up the toast, you know, the cheese will be nice and melted on top, no, it doesn't turn out that way. It actually just flies all in there, and the cheese will be somewhere else and the toast will be somewhere else, but they'll both be cooked. The other day something really scary happened. All I did was just put a piece of parchment paper or baking paper at the bottom, and I put the slice of cheese on top. Now I knew it kind of flies in there, so I was just literally standing and hogging it to make sure that it doesn't, you know, it doesn't just fly off and get stuck to the walls of the basket. So I kept checking it again and again and again, and lucky I did that, because I found that the cheese had already flown away, but the paper itself was kind of stuck on the top of where the fan was, and it kind of burned on the edges. So if I would have not kept an eye on it, that could have actually caught fire, which was kind of dangerous, which I never did that again. So be careful. The air fryer, microwave, the toaster, and the sandwich press. Now all of this is connected to one point. So what I've noticed is when I'm using the air fryer, I can't use any of these because the electricity trips every time I use any two of these with any one of these with the air fryer. So that is again another thing that you might want to think about. Again, that's just possibly how electricity is divided in my house. Could be different in yours, so just think about it. Now, food cannot be 100% oil-free when you're cooking it in the air fryer. There will be some foods that you will need to definitely spray oil on. For example, if you're cooking fritters in there, you will need lots of oil. Otherwise, without the oil, it turns out to be quite dry and chewy, which is not what we want. Now, that was all when it comes to negatives. Now I'm going to give you some tips as well if you're going to be using this. It is best to clean it after use. Now I've had days when I haven't done that, right? And what tends to happen is, depending on what you've cooked in there, it kind of smells, it kind of starts smelling of the oil at the bottom. And sometimes when I'm lazy and I don't really want to clean it, I'll just literally take it out of the machine and leave it next to my sink and just add some water in it, so it's easier for me to clean it later. The next tip is, when you take your basket out, always have something heat resistant to keep it on, because it's hot at the bottom, and you don't want to keep it on the laminate and burn it. So luckily I have this little thing, which is basically just, you know, a cover for my sink that comes in handy for me. I just leave it on top of that and I'm good. When you're cooking your food in there, don't just topple it like that. If you topple it, you'll have oil coming out of here and the food coming out of here, which isn't what we don't want to happen. Just literally press this button, take it out, and put your food down wherever you put it. Pretty easy. Sometimes all I do is just take the basket out a little bit and use just this timer. If I'm cooking some eggs or something in the stove, I'll just use this timer for whatever I need to, and then turn it off when I don't need it. And also, when you overcrowd the basket, the food doesn't turn out crispy, and it tends to just stick on the bottom, and it's so hard to clean. Don't do it. Not worth it. Now the next tip is super important. Keep it on top of something that is heat resistant, not on top of the laminate directly, because this thing gets very, very hot. Don't overcrowd the place that it is sitting in, because it needs space to breathe. When I use this whole area kind of steams up and gets super hot. So make sure it is somewhere that it can release the air and it's not blocking the air. Now next I'm going to tell you about some of the foods that according to me have cooked well in here, and some that not so well. Just my experience again. Chicken. Again, if you're cooking a whole chicken, be mindful and do look at the temperatures of the recipe, because chicken can get dry too quickly in there, depending on whether it's breast piece or thigh pieces. Just they cook differently, so be mindful of that and follow the actual recipe instructions. Bacon cooks amazingly in this, like super amazing. Now I've cooked ribs, but I have initially cooked the ribs in the oven, and then when we're ready to eat, I've used the air fryer to reheat it with some more sauce on top, and it turns out amazing. I haven't tried a whole pork or pork roast in there yet. That is to come later. Now, some foods that don't cook so well in here, fritters. I have struggled cooking fritters in this. It just needs way too much oil. I have actually cooked fritters in the oven and in the air fryer. They cook so much better in the oven compared to the air fryer. That was again just my experience. Maybe somebody else would be able to do it, but I just wasn't able to. Boiled eggs. I've tried it twice. Now they say you can make boiled eggs or hard boiled eggs in the air fryer. I have tried it and oh my god, no, it's a big disaster. I will not do it again. Now I'm sure there are other things that you might be able to cook well and others that you won't be able to cook. These are the things that I knew about. Now will I buy this again? If somebody else would have made a video like this, I probably would not have. But since I have bought it already, I'm not going to chuck it or anything. I'm just going to keep using it. And in the rate that I'm using it, it's probably going to die very, very soon. But really, it does the basic job that it needs to do. And for the price, it's not a bad investment. So I'm still very happy with it, and I'm still going to keep using it till the day it dies on me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this comes in handy to you. And if it did, don't forget to comment below and let me know your thoughts about it. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. It might not be a big deal to you, but to me as a small YouTuber, it is massive. Anyway, you guys have a lovely day and I will see you in my next video. Laters.
Bye.
You guys say bye-bye?
Yeah. Bye guys. See you next time.